The biggest divide in America isn't income, it's ownership. Whoever owns the wealth controls the outcome. Slavery and Jim Crow didn't just create a gap, they helped build a system where one group came to control nearly the entire economic pie. And that matters, because the percentage of wealth a group owns determines everything: access to quality schools, competitive businesses, healthcare, justice, even how long and how well people live. But here's what most people don't think about. Wealth in America doesn't just come down to working hard. It comes down to 4 things: your starting position, your access to education and opportunity, your ownership of resources, and the power of systemic racism. And out of all of these, ownership is the most important, because ownership isn't just money, it's power. It's control over businesses, jobs, pricing, opportunities, and even influence over policy. If you don't own, you participate. If you do own, you decide. And it's not just about money in your pocket, it's about what your network, your family, and your community already control. That's where the real advantage comes from. And in America, ownership has been concentrated for generations. Wealth gets passed down through families, land, businesses, stocks, and institutions. It doesn't reset, it compounds. That's why even poor white families, on average, are less likely to remain poor across generations compared to black families, because wealth exists within systems that continue to support them, and it's not just growing, it's protected. Through inheritance, capital gains, and institutional systems, wealth stays within the same hands and continues to expand. Now look at the scale. White Americans control the overwhelming majority of corporate stocks and bonds, valued in the trillions. At one point, a single corporation ranked outside the top 250 had sales equal to the combined total of the 100 largest black-owned businesses. Let that sink in. And even when black wealth increases, it's often tied to income, like entertainment or sports, not long-term ownership of assets that grow and transfer across generations. That's a completely different kind of wealth. Now look at the breakdown. In areas like business ownership, real estate, stocks, and savings, the gaps aren't small. They're massive. We're talking differences of thousands of percent in financial assets, over 20,000% in business equity, and overwhelming control of the most valuable resources in the country. That's not just a gap, that's a system. And the result is this: nearly half of Black America has a net worth close to zero, meaning there's little or nothing to pass down. Meanwhile, wealth at the top continues to multiply across generations. That's why 2 people can work just as hard, make similar income, and still end up in completely different financial realities, because one is building on ownership and the other is starting from scratch. This isn't just inequality. This is a wealth monopoly, and monopolies don't disappear unless they're broken.